Hello, hello. This is Taylor Ursula of That's So Pisces, and it is a first quarter moon in Libra. So let's talk about it. Now, if you watched my Cancer season prediction video, here is where we discussed a little bit about how this is the final significant Libra lunation without the presence of the South Node. Unbeknownst to you, all of these Libra lunations have been taking place sans South Node, and we've just had some regular themes here playing out around the people we are connecting with, the social rules and niceties that we are upholding, and our sense of fairness. Now, this is the last significant lunation, and by that I mean lunations that we mark. So the new moon, the first quarter moon, the full moon, the third quarter moon, all of these. Really, this is the last lunation of any kind in Libra until the South Node leaves once more next year at the end of 2024. So anytime the moon is in Libra moving forward as of July 17th, we'll have a presence with the moon and the South Node, rather. So I bring this up to say that this is the last time that we may feel a sense of normalcy within this Libra lunation space, as well as this Libra house in general. Previously, moons have passed through here, and you have considered the themes that I just laid out a moment ago: fairness, collaboration, and rules. So this is an interesting preface to some of the actual energies that will be present at this first quarter moon. If we remember, the first quarter moon is what we are building up to. So we just had the new moon. We are starting to see the moon gain light night by night. And so when we reach the first quarter moon, we are seeing our efforts begin to culminate. We are seeing something begin to grow. And there's a feeling of pressure where we want to fill in any gaps that we are seeing revealed to us at this time as energies grow, as well as we want to celebrate what's going well. Now, this lunation is a little spicy, okay? So at a first quarter moon, when we are assessing our progress, we are, again, a bit tense. There's a square happening between the sun and the moon, so we're feeling any pressure that's building up. What's making this feel even more pressurized is there's a square between Mercury and Neptune taking place a few hours before this lunation. So we're a bit out of sorts. We're a bit foggy on the details. We need to maybe make an extra push to gain some clarity, or otherwise to push through sort of what's been lurking, lingering, unsure, uncertain. Now, Mars squares Uranus right at this lunation as well, just a couple hours after this lunation. So there's some very potent energy. We are being moved in new directions. The Mars square to Uranus is the one that I mentioned in that Cancer prediction video will be a bit reactive. We may be charting a new course that's long awaited. We may be reacting or reactive to some circumstances that become known to us at this time. So it's important to understand kind of the motivation behind what we are feeling this huge push of energy toward. At the same time, or rather later in the evening at this first quarter moon, we have Mercury move into Cancer. So Mercury, part of this Neptune square, is wrapping up all that it's been doing in Gemini. And we've talked a little bit about how Gemini as a sign has been changed since Saturn has been present in Pisces, really changing the landscape of what it feels like to move through Gemini. And with these late squares to Neptune hanging out at 28 degrees now, these final degrees of Pisces, we might still be parsing through things. We might still be figuring out what's important. Perhaps that's part of the Mars-Uranus square. As we are sort of sorting through information and categorizing and making sense of things, it may be time to make a sudden departure, or we may otherwise be responding, reacting to something that we're starting to put together. Okay, let's go ahead and pull some cards to get a sense of what this lunation is revealing to us now. See you there. Okay, so here is our pull from our Gemini new moon video. If you want to go back and hear about the narrative we've begun here that we're continuing with this Libra first quarter moon, go ahead and check that out and then meet us back here. Okay, let's get started. So, as we are thinking about what's coming up at this first quarter moon, we are asking questions. And the questions we are asking are, first, about the energy that is accumulating now. Secondly, we're checking in about doubts and complications that arise with this energy that is accumulating. We ask about gifts that we can work with regarding this energy as it is accumulating. And lastly, we're thinking about lessons that we are able to make sense of as we approach this full moon. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got going on at this spicy Libra first quarter moon. Okay. All right. Okay, we've got a King of Swords vibe going. Last time we had the King of Wands. We were talking about a vision. We were talking about downloading and being connected to something bigger than us. And we also saw the Page of Swords, kind of talking about breaking through previous limitations. So we are at this first quarter moon seeking out the truth. We are mastering our mind. Okay, maybe this has to do with some of the Mercury square Neptune that we talked about, those kind of confounding details and needing to make a push to find clarity, to find the truth, really showing us that we are going the distance with this. We are taking this to the final level, okay? Very nice. And at the same time, there's an emotional component here. We've talked about the Six of Cups reflecting our strive to serve community. We are kind of coming from what's been nourishing to us in the past and thinking about how we can extend that to others near us, to our friends, our loved ones, our community. And so there may be some influence as we reach this summit, as we kind of reach this culmination point regarding truth, regarding our own mind and our perspective. We are also reflecting. We're thinking back on maybe some good times. We're thinking back on nourishment that felt good to us. We're remembering a time when we had what we needed, perhaps, when we had kind of this dreamy, cloudy sky. So we may be reminiscing as we reach this summit. Okay, we've got some cups together. So as we are perhaps reflecting on the past, reflecting on past care, reminiscing, maybe we're getting a sense of where our emotions are still informed by the past, right? So we've got kind of two things pulling us backward a bit while we're trying to make headway into something new. The Six of Cups is showing us, I remember a time when, and the Seven of Cups says, well, is that memory clouding what I think I should have now? What I view my options to be in the present moment? So the Six always kind of comes with this little warning of don't get too lost in the past. And the Seven is sort of this reminder of the past is influencing the present. The past is coloring what we think this landscape looks like ahead of us. So what are we ending with here? Very interesting. Okay, Cups and Swords. So emotion and intellect. All right. So we've come to, or we are entering into a place of mastery within our minds this week. With that comes some emotional information. We are reflecting on the feelings that have brought us to this place in our current time, in our current state, in our current chapter of our lives. And something's coming to a close. Perhaps this mastery is about I'm thinking about how we had the Nine of Swords last week and how we were sort of moving through a state of anxiety. We were shedding some of our previous anxiety, wanting to get clear on maybe what is keeping us in a state of anxiety. And so it seems that this comes to a close this week. This
Worst case scenario, let's lean into it. Let's acknowledge it. If it's happening, let's just go there. Let's put it on the table. And let's say that as we reminisce on something, we might be pulled into the emotion of it, but really it's time to let it go. Maybe this is showing us the Mars Uranus square. This also makes me think about Mercury hanging out in Cancer at this Libra first quarter moon, or moving into Cancer rather. And so while we've been in a very informational, cut and dry time, this Gemini season, parsing out information, trying to get clear, now that we are all fully in the Cancer sphere, we're sort of being pulled back into the emotional realm. So I'm getting a sense that to reach this summit, we must let something die, we must let something rest, we must let something be over. Maybe we have feared this being over. Maybe there are emotions bound within this thing ongoing. And to put it down, to let it end, may trigger feelings of fear or insecurity. But look, if we're coming at this from this king, it's time for us. It seems like this might be long awaited if this is really what we're stepping into. Knowing that this is the last Libra lunation without the South Node, we are going to be purging in that space anyway. So it might be that if you can get clear and purge something there now, or make a shift toward a new direction and away from something that's been kind of lingering, you may be doing yourself a favor and kind of clearing something out before the South Node comes in and does it for us. I don't want to make that sound like loaded or fated, but that is kind of what nodal shifts do. They bring things to the surface for us to contend with that we have not been mindful of. So, let me know how this lands for you in the comments, y'all. I am excited to see what we're going to be building up to in our Capricorn full moon. So, I will see you then. Please, if you enjoyed this, go ahead and like it, share it, subscribe, and I'll see you for our Capricorn full moon pull. Thank you so much for watching.